Welcome to Business Talk. I'm Mike Lavery, and we're kicking off this year talking about South Africa's energy transition. And I think it's been many things over the last few years. It's been urgent, it's been expensive, but it's been innovative as well, and occasionally a little bit Wild West. We saw load shedding creating a boom. The boom created opportunity, and opportunity has ever attracted both world-class engineers and the occasional bloke with a bucky and a WhatsApp catalog and a deep belief in plug and play. So today we're going to separate engineering from improvisation and real systems from the shortcuts and deliver some long-term solutions when it comes to how we deal with energy in our businesses. Before we get into AI and arbitrage and the shiny stuff, let's just start with some context. Herholdt's group has been around for a long time, long before solar became the kind of dinner table conversation. Give us a quick sense of the company's history and how its core offerings have evolved to meet today's energy reality.
Okay, thank you, Michael, for having me. So Herholdt's has been around for a very long time. Actually started off as a family business in 1976. It was more electrical contracting business, so going out, doing installs and stuff like this. But then in the 1990s, it branched to be into an electrical wholesaling business to better serve that growing market. And into 2016, our current CEO actually was the spearhead of this. We transitioned into renewables and started, dabbling in this space. And we have evolved into a fully integrated energy solution provider. We currently operate in 9 branches located all across the major cities in South Africa. We supply a full range of electrical components for residential, commercial, and industrial use. We distribute renewable energy components, including solar, storage, hybrid technologies. We also do support infrastructure like DBs and containerized solutions. We've also invested heavily over the last 2.5 years with partnering with very trustworthy suppliers because, as you might know, this is a very, very important part of the assets that are being rolled out currently in South Africa and for businesses. We operate on a free delivery model for anywhere from a branch 250 kilometers from that radius from that branch, which practically makes free delivery for the whole of South Africa because we have a major branch in every we have a branch in every major city. We also have soft skills assistance like energy control and design assistance and optimization strategies.
Now, I mean, you're a big group. You cover the country, blanketed basically with that 250K free delivery service in every major city. It's a sector that certainly exploded, as we've seen with the rise of solar. We've also seen with that a flood of grey imports, illegitimate stock, fly-by-night installers. From a consumer's point of view, I think it's very hard to tell the difference until something obviously fails. So what should South Africans look for when they're trying to distinguish a credible operator like Herholdt's from those cutting corners? What are the red flags that should make people think, something's not right here?
Okay, so I'll address this in two points. So the first ones are companies and the installers and the EPCs that you need to end customers or companies need to work with, and also then the second one is products, right? So the first one, the way that Herholdt's addresses this is we have a premium partner program that we have about 300 plus installers and EPCs that are vetted, and they go through a vetting process, and we make sure that they have all the certifications and stuff in place before we onboard them. And then we when an end customer comes to us, we would suggest one of these companies to work with. There has been a rapid influx because of load shedding, as you mentioned, that we've got not necessarily just bucket brigades, but some of the installs and stuff that has been substandard. So it's very important for the end the consumer or with the asset owner at the end of the day to make sure that the partner that they use, the labor is as important, the installer is as important as the products that are installed. So it's incredibly important that they select the correct partner for this. We do that vetting process for the end customer. So if somebody comes, if a premium partner comes to your is your installer or the EPC that you work with, you automatically, we have vetted them. We make sure that it is a company that has been in business for a legitimate amount of time and has all the certifications in place. Then the second one is the product part. So the product part is just as important, because we have seen, obviously with the load shedding boom, that gray imports are a thing. So there are products that when you try and trace that product back, you'll see that it's not a legitimate product. So it's very important that customers make sure that the traceability is there on these gray stock items for sure.
Yeah. And once you've filtered for trust, then the next question obviously becomes performance. And I know Herholdt has leaned hard into technology-led energy management. One phrase that comes up a lot is AI-powered load balancing, which sounds really impressive, maybe a little bit abstract as well. What does it actually mean in practice, and why is it so effective in extracting more value from the same energy assets?
So so there's two parts of it. There's load balancing, and then there's AI, and it's all actually umbrellaed by what we call an EMS, which is the energy management system. So it's the installs and solutions that were built in the load shedding times were very dumb, because it's a load shedding solution. All that you want there is you hope, or you make sure that your battery is full when load shedding starts, and then you run as long as you can by minimizing the loads. Okay, but now those days are over. So now the load balancing part is actually a key component in maximizing your solar production and actually being able to get the maximum benefit out of your solar, your solar install. You think of it as like, this is an asset that can actually make you money, where if you just have it sitting there around and it's just doing, load shedding, you're not extracting the full value out of that. So what load balancing does is it actively monitors the real-time energy consumption of the loads, and it automatically switches it on and off as required. So that's an AI portion that can do that. Some of the products that we offer have that built in, like Sig Energy, but we also have third-party devices that can bolt on top of it. They're hardware agnostic, and they can also, make your, let's say, dumb load shedding solution right now. We can make that smart for you, and especially in businesses, this becomes there's an economic driver behind this. So it maximizes the solar cell consumption. It can help you manage peak demand and grid reliance.
Yeah, I mean, there's optional value that you're leaving on the table if you're not thinking about this kind of solution as a business. Beyond load balancing, how else are AI and automation being used across your systems? Are we seeing it in things like predictive maintenance, or maybe improving uptime? Where else are you seeing the value?
Yeah, so the AI is definitely starting to play a very big role in the energy systems. There's many things that it can do. So I'll just touch on some of these points. So the one thing is it can learn patterns over time. So it can make sure that if your demand is more at certain times, it uses cheap energy that it can store earlier and then use that later in a peak demand when you're actually wanting to use more energy. So it definitely has pattern over time. It can do predictive load scheduling and optimization. It monitors your solar production performance, so it will flag anomalies. So let's say there's panels that are underproducing, let's say for 3 days or whatever, then AI will pick this up, because many of our EPC partners, installer partners, have so many assets in the field installed currently. So this needs to be can't be a manual thing anymore. You need like AI to look at these things and be like, oh, that asset's doing something strange there. Send a team there and investigate. Same for battery. We have things like cell drift and cell temperature that fluctuates. So you can it will learn the, let's say, the top and bottom max and min set points of it, and then over time it will then look, if it deviates from that, it will say, okay, well, something is up with, let's say, battery number 10 on this side. Send a team there and investigate, because that can potentially, lead to something that where the battery shuts down. So it's preventative maintenance instead of reactive, right? So that's it's definitely becoming a big thing in energy management for us, or well,
Yeah, they
in the
really
industry.
are smart systems. I mean, the way they can learn, the way they can pick up patterns and reference that, and then help you before something goes wrong, I think is such a hugely valuable component of all of this. But importantly, we still need humans, surely. Where does the human expertise still matter in a world that's getting more automated when it comes to these systems?
Well, it's I mean, AI is very smart, so that's the one thing we actually at Herholdt also we've embraced AI quite a bit. So what AI does, it really gives you this extra tool to work with, but ultimately it's just not going to replace humans full out, right? We're of the opinion that, if we're 500 people, then AI will allow us to work like, 2,000 people, because it's an extra tool that you're using. And we're seeing the same thing in the EMS. Like it won't be able to, like, AI won't be able to spec the system, be able to make sure that everything is built foundationally sound and then build on top of it. We're a very, very long time from it. It's very good with patterns, obviously. I mean, it's just when a human is also very good with patterns, but it's just with so much information, it becomes impossible for a human to look at it, where AI can just look at the whole pattern and be like, oh, inverted 10 on this side is 10 degrees higher than all its friends. So please send a tech out there and make sure that to see what's going on there.
Yeah, it is. I've always been of the belief that it's not really the AI that's going to displace humans, but it's going to be humans using AI that will outcompete other humans who are not using the technology, or other businesses who are not using the technology. Obviously, this has to all sit as a foundation on something that's really rock solid from a safety and compliance perspective. Often can be the boring things, but the energy systems in particular aren't forgiving. When they go wrong expensively or very dangerously. How does Herholdt approach safety and compliance when you look at the group and how you ensure that you're doing this in the kind of best of breed way?
So it comes back again to the partners that we choose, again to our premium partner program, and also the products that we import. So again, we do all the homework at the start to make sure that the companies that we suggest and the partners that we have in the field follow. I mean, it's the baseline for all installs. It stands compliance. So compliance is non-negotiable for us. We have definitely had 1 or 2 or 3 installers that have sometimes, they were fine at the start, but then here and there they take a shortcut. We absolutely we work with them to rectify that and to make sure that the installs that we have, eyes on and that we partner with, that is 100% compliant to all regulations in South Africa, and that's from the installer perspective, and then from a product perspective, I mean, everything that we import has been certified, proof for installation in South Africa, by SABS and NRS and all of this, and we make sure that these products that we provide are something that's going to be, a product that lasts for a long time. We're not looking at it as selling products. We're selling solutions, and we're one of the backbones of giving South Africa that energy transition, so that energy is abundant and accessible to everybody, essentially. So it's very important for us to make sure, from a compliance perspective, that we are always within compliance, us and the partners out there, and the products that we import.
Yeah, which is, means you've got to go up and down the value chain. But once you've done that, I think the real exciting stuff begins, because we're seeing a world where there are energy traders that are emerging. You've spoken about energy system arbitrage. It's a concept that I think is more commonly associated with trading desks than our rooftops. What does arbitrage mean in an energy system context, and how does it translate into real measurable savings or returns for your clients?
So, I mean, arbitrage in the energy world is it's simply the simple concept of buying energy when it's cheap and selling it when it's high. So, it's funny because it also load balancing and energy management comes in. It's a part of the EMS again. So we've got built-in solutions, like I mentioned, that SIG can do it, but also Energy Track, which is our third-party product that can do it. So what you're doing here is you're just buying at we call it the green time. So when you look at your ESCOM, and it's not everybody, some businesses and municipalities only give you a flat rate, so their arbitrage doesn't make sense. But where the tariff allows for it and the feed-in tariffs allowed for it, you're buying in green time and you're exporting in red time. So it significantly improves battery utilization. We are seeing an explosion of battery models being pushed out into the market right now, because the battery simulations that we can help customers with as well. We've seen, ROI on some of these battery solutions that are 3 years, which is absolutely insane. Like just not on only the arbitrage, because they go hand in hand with peak shaving as well. So arbitrage is one thing, buying and selling. But then the other thing that people are not realizing is the peak shaving part of ESCOM. So ESCOM is also actually very smart, right? So they're also adapting all the time. And peak shaving right now, if you on the bigger companies go and look at that bill, it's the demand charge is almost half where it was not that 2 years ago. So the battery also helps with that. So as soon as you see the demand creeping up from the grid, you can start discharging the battery. So they go hand in hand, and that's why that battery solution, the arbitrage, but essentially battery solution, becomes an incredibly valuable and exciting vehicle that we will see rolling out in South Africa over the next few months.
Yeah, because as we know, as soon as you go higher up in the consumption curve and the tariff goes higher, it can really hurt you. Now, looking forward, beyond just maybe more solar panels being installed across the country, where do you see the biggest opportunities emerging? Are there new markets or new tech or maybe smarter grid interactions or more storage? What excites you most, and where should businesses and households be focusing their attention over the next few years?
So, like I mentioned, we touched on all of those concepts already, but for sure, the biggest thing that we are seeing right now is batteries. So battery is going to be a very valuable tool over the next 2-3 years. And I was at a forum the other day, and even in Africa, there is an absolute battery explosion that's about to happen, and it's because of this, the issues that we've faced here in South Africa. So it's actually it's funny how South Africa is actually leading that sort of charge for the whole of Africa, because Africa is entering some of the phases now they have been in that phase, but now they're embracing these solutions that have been spearheaded by South Africa. But for sure, battery, big thing. And as a business owner or as a business, really look at this and have the right partners come and show you what battery solutions can do and battery models. It's an incredibly powerful vehicle. From all the financials instruments that's available to businesses, batteries, I can guarantee you, is one of the best ones if you have obviously the right interactions with the grid connection and export and all of this. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is the EMS, so the energy management system that we've spoke about. They're also, again, for businesses and also for homeowners, the EMS part will grow significantly over the next 5 years, because we're finally getting to the place where all of these technologies interact with each other, which is great. So you'll have building management interact with energy, because energy essentially is the foundation of everything. So without power, you can't do anything, right? So energy is in a place now where it can start interacting and be smart with all of the other pillars around it, like building management, surveillance, all of these other things we're seeing how they're starting to intersect with each other. And that makes for an incredibly compelling design and solutions that the business can embrace into. And an industrial mill will look different from an agricultural farm, but all of those, you can build these very unique, scalable, and solutions that are economically makes so much sense for all of these businesses. So we're really seeing how the convergence of all of these sort of technologies getting together and being able to, interact with each other.
And I think in an economy, as we know, Lucas, we all wish South Africa was growing at 3, 4, 5%. We're still forecast to grow at just under 2% this year. And so as a business, you look where you can harvest gains. This is one of those areas that, that ROI that you said on the one project of a 3-year payback is just incredible. So if you're not looking at this, then I think you are leaving value on the table. Lucas, thank you very much. A refreshingly grounded look at an industry that I think often gets oversold and underexplained. So thanks for helping us separate some of the hype from the engineering and the shortcuts from systems that actually last. I'm Mike Lavery, and this is Business Talk on businesstech.co.za.